Today we're going to talk about how to process stress in this moment, right? In this moment right now, whenever you're feeling stress. And obviously we all have a multitude of layers and levels of stress that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I know this year has brought new stress levels and new stress scenarios that most of us have never faced before. So I thought this was a good thing to talk about, is just how to shift or process and deal with stress in this moment. So we're going to go through a few things. And one of the things that people first want to do is when they're facing some kind of stress, whether it's a physical pain, money stress, job stress, just being triggered by relationships, anything like that, is a resistance. And what I mean by that is wanting to be out of this moment, wanting the stress to go away, which of course is natural. We all want stress to go away. But resisting it with this constant, I want this to go away, I don't want this here, I want it to be gone. That resistance to what is happening in this moment, which is that you're feeling stress, the resistance to it is actually adding another layer of stress for you. So we want to be mindful. That's the thing about stress, is in life in general, and the key to life is just to be observant of your inner thoughts and what's going on inside your head and your mind, and because that's feeding your emotion, that's feeding your stress. So just becoming aware that, okay, yes, of course you don't want your stress to be there, but the more you're focusing on the stress is hard and I don't want this and what am I going to do, this constant pressure for it to be gone right now is the resistance that I'm talking about. And in order to be at peace in this moment, it's going to have to come to an awareness of knowing when you're adding that extra level of resistance to it. And that's simple self-care, right? And we all could use new tools or enhance our tools for self-care. And well, self-care, what does that mean? Well, being mindful, being aware of when you're going through this inside yourself. And when we're facing stress in this moment, what can we do for ourselves to alleviate stuff in this moment? We may not solve the problem outside of ourselves. We may not know what to do, and we may still be feeling stress, but some of the things that we can do to alleviate and kind of push through that moment is actually to be present in this moment. And I know that was very contradictory, to push through, but to be present. The way to get to the other side of some of this really hard stress is to come back and be present. And to do that, it's just a level of self-care and knowing that we don't get to control everything outside of us, but we do get to control most of what's happening within us if we're mindful and we're aware of that. So the first thing we want to notice is, what am I taking on that I can let go of? And one of them is that resistance to wanting it to be out of this moment right now, and just going, okay, this is what stress feels like with this right now. And then handle what is yours. That's yours. The resistance is yours. It's human nature, yes, but let's be aware of it, be mindful of it, and know how to separate that. And then let go of what is not yours. That outside circumstance that is causing your stress, you may not have control over that. Most times we don't. We can't control what's happening outside of our world. We can't control what's happening on the news and on the media and other things that other people are doing. We can only control how we react to it. So bring that power back into this moment. And how do we do that? Well, I mean, there's numerous ways, but one of them is to just take a breath and tell yourself, right here, right now, I'm breathing, I'm okay. You may be upset, you may be even crying, you may be angry, but right here in this moment, right here, right now, feel the clothes in your body. Take a deep breath into the body. Bring yourself into this moment, because generally the stress that we're thinking about is outside of this moment. What am I going to do if my boss does this? Or what am I going to do, if this happens to my neighborhood, that's happened on the news, that's, what am I going to do? What am I going to do No, what are you doing right now in this moment? Right now in this moment. If you're dealing with a trauma in this moment, you're probably not watching this video. You're acting on what is going on in the moment. When we have something to react to in the moment, we're being present, right? If there's a fire, we're reacting to the fire. That's being as present as we can be. So if we're sitting here in a stressful situation, becoming more present in that situation is actually going to do a lot more good than resisting that what's happening in this moment. So just come back into this moment. Feel the clothes in your body. Feel what you're standing on. Feel what you're sitting in. Take a breath into the body. And even say, I used to say over and over, right here, right now, right here, right now, because my mind would take me to all these scenarios of what ifs or scenarios that happened, coulda, shoulda, woulda, you know. And now I try not to use the word should at all. I say, why you gotta should on yourself, right? Should. Don't do that. You're in this moment. Come to this moment. Be accepting of where you are and what you're feeling. And breathe. Another thing you can do to shift to a different state is to do something physical. So breathing is something physical, or just move. Walk around the room for a minute. Put down whatever you're holding. Do something physical that actually moves the body. It will start to move the energy. It'll start to change your heart rate and the rhythm of it. And actually, these kind of things can take you out of that super stressed state. So breathe. Do something else physical. Move around a little bit. If you want to go into like a yoga or a bike ride or a walk, even better. But even just getting up and going to another room and coming back brings you present. You have to take steps. You know, you focus on what's happening in this moment. Nature is another good stress reliever. Just staring out the window if you can't go outside, and staring at a tree or a leaf or at some grass, and just really immerse yourself into this moment. Listening to nature. If you can hear nature, if you can go out and walk in nature or sit in nature, it's even better. But even just observing it, listening to it, watching it on a computer or TV is even helpful. Nature gives us a new vibration. It gives us sound that can actually help relax us when we're completely immersed and focused on it. So take your focus into what's right here and now. Listen to the silence of this moment. And that may sound silly to some, but there is a sound that is in silence. And you can practice listening. Maybe you hear the air conditioner, maybe you hear the television, maybe you hear someone in another room playing or crying or arguing or, you know, whatever's happening. Find those moments between the sounds, or turn everything off and just listen for the sound of silence. That will bring you present, that will bring you into your body, and that will help detach from that outside circumstance to move from stress in this moment. Not saying ignore what you have to do, not saying you have to, you know, solve all the problems that cause your stress. You will face that, but I'm talking about when we are in a very stressful state and we want to shift that in this moment. And this takes practice. It takes a cognitive self-observation of what you're feeding yourself based on what's going on in your life. And the more that we can be aware and mindful and living purposeful in this moment is a way that we can handle stress that comes in, big stress, little stress. And when you take time for yourself and for self-care to do these little things to help to calm that state in yourself while still facing your life, that can be very, very helpful. Another thing is singing. Sing your favorite song. Sing the vowel sounds, A-E-I-O-U. Humming actually stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the biggest nerve in the body and can actually cause a relaxation response in the physical body. You can even do that in a store while you're in line and you know you're impatient and you need to get to where you're going and you're stuck in line. Just start humming or even singing in your head. These are things that can bring us back into the present moment and stop projecting outward to where we don't have any power, which then causes more stress. Another good mantra, not even mantra, motto, well, maybe you've heard of "This too shall pass." And that just means that life is transient. It's always moving, it's always changing, and the stress won't always stay there, just like the joyous, happy moments don't always stay. And life, is a moving wave. It's like our heartbeat. It goes up and it goes down. And so reminding ourselves that this too shall pass also brings us present with that physical emotion and allows us to be able to accept what's happening in this moment, and knowing that it's not the end of the world, even though it could feel like that, but this too shall pass, and it will. And then, continue compassion for yourself. Give yourself credit for the amount of stress that you've dealt with. Give yourself credit for the things that you've done that have allowed you to overcome all the challenges that you've come to this far. And, if it helps you to make a list of the great things and ways that you've gotten creative with dealing with stress, do that. If it helps you to give yourself some love and attention, and just remind yourself it's okay to feel the emotions that you feel. We are dealing with a lot of stress in this world, and it's understandable. We cannot get away from having a human experience, which is having emotions that are less than desirable, but it is part of the experience of being human. And because we know that life is constantly changing, we don't always have to feel these things. So just be present with it. Don't judge it. This is what stress feels like. This is what it feels like to be angry, disappointed, and fearful. And if that means that we've got to figure out what is doing that, then we can do that. But when we want to shift in this moment, and we've got to be okay in this moment, and fear is just, or stress or fear is just obsessing us, then things what we can do to shift in this moment. Breathe. Move the body. Sing, hum. Self-love, self-compassion. Bring joy into understanding that it's okay. This is part of the human experience. Oh well. Can you bring yourself into a state of just observing and not being so caught up in it? Make a list of things that you've done that you're proud of. This too shall pass. Listen to silence. Go into nature. There's many ways we can shift out of whatever it is that is stressing us out in the physical body in this moment. Can't always change out there what's going on, but we can always choose a new reaction inside ourselves, in our body, right here, right now. You can handle everything else that's coming. Staying present is your point of power. Breathe into that. Let yourself know that you're okay. You have control of you. You have the power in the present moment to relax, to cope, to feel better. Use that energy that comes in to guide you in a way that allows you to handle what's coming in this moment. That's all for now, and I will see you in the next video. If you liked this, please subscribe to my channel, click like, send me a comment. If you want me to do a different video on some other more specifics of this or anything else, I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much. Peace out.